Kenyan.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Uh, Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah,
Oh, well, that's nice.
enjoying the
Um,
nice weather.
Interesting. Well, here in the Philippines, very gloomy, but it's
Oh,
still nice.
still
That's
very
okay.
rainy.
Yeah, it's still very rainy. We have it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still great day for me. So, again, welcome back to our video series, Kenyan. Last time I talked about how business architecture aids in optimizing resources within an organization and mastering strategy execution. So today, we're focusing on how enhancing collaboration transforms the fabric of an organization. So, to start, could you discuss some strategies that have been proven effective in enhancing collaboration across different roles and partners within an organization? Like, how do these strategies help in breaking down silos?
So I'll give you a technique that I really like, and it's the value mapping technique. And I
Ooh,
like
okay.
this technique because it really gives teams an opportunity to see exactly what value they're delivering to each other, what value they're delivering to their partners, and in exchange, value their partners are delivering to them. And it's the value exchange map. And essentially, it in being able to show, very specifically in this graphical, pictorial form, exactly what they're delivering to each other. They start to see just how integrated they are and how working in silos is just not good for them. And usually organizations and teams, they know this, right? They are usually kind of against working in silos, and they want to be a more collaborative. And I think um, there are a number of reasons why that becomes a challenge kind of in the day-to-day work of organizations. This particular technique is really one of my favorites, and being able to show teams just how important they are to one another, and start to open up the communication lines, and to kind of start to see the aha in terms of why our collaboration is really important. So it's a good, I feel like it's a wonderful, it's probably heavy to be considered an icebreaker, but it's, to me, a really good one in getting the
Yeah.
conversation started, which communication is really the what we're talking about when we're talking about collaboration, and beginning to open up the lines to start to work together. So that's a really, really great technique, and especially when we start to tie that back to what's the organization's big picture goals. What are we trying to achieve when it comes down to our measurable objectives, and how can we begin to foster a culture where not only do we have this shared understanding of how we're delivering value to one another, but where might we, where are we maybe not communicating as well as we could, considering the level of value we're contributing to one another. So again, one of my favorite techniques for really getting into that enhanced collaboration within an organization.
Well, thanks for sharing that value mapping technique, Kenyan. I mean, it's great to hear like how these strategic efforts or technique are making a tangible difference.
Yeah.
However, I imagine enhancing collaboration is it's not without its challenges, right? So, could you share like some common hurdles you've encountered in this area, and like describe how you're able to address them to ensure like there's a cohesive effort across the organization?
So I'd say that one common like challenge or hurdle that teams might experience when trying to foster collaboration really begins with silos. I was recently um, with a group of nonprofit leaders. I would say we're probably about somewhere between 35 or 40 nonprofits in the room. And I had this group complete a survey. The discussion was around strategy execution, and really, what are they finding, or what have they experienced personally as a challenge in being able to execute strategy within their organizations. And the number one answer in this group, they had a choice of about 6 or 7 of options, and they were able to choose multiple. But the one that rose to the top was the presence of silos in their organization. I think we've talked in some past discussions about just how interconnected organizations are, and how important it is for us to really understand the depth of that interconnectedness in order to begin to move the needle when we're talking about trying to move the organization forward in strategy execution, in any initiative. I don't think I can overstate how challenging it is for teams to understand that when you are working and only collaborating within your department or within your, area of responsibility, you lose sight of so much within the organization, and it really creates a major misalignment across the entire organization. And so, one way that organizations can begin, or teams can really begin to start to break down these silos, is really to come together. And I like, this is one of the things I really like about the practice and discipline of business architecture, is that it allows us to first come together and start talking about what are the various areas of work, what are the various skills, what are the various resources that we're all contributing to get the work done, what is all the various areas of within our organization that we manage from day to day. What are we doing in our day-to-day efforts? And when we start having that conversation, we start to highlight where our language is misaligned, where our understanding of our various capabilities within the organization are occurring. And starting that conversation first gets us into a practice of being able to, one, define what exactly is the language of our organization. What are the terms that are common to us that means something, and we should put some definitions around it that we can all relate to and know what we're talking about when we're communicating with each other. And also understanding those capabilities start to inform us around, hey, this team member is doing an area of grant management, and this team member is also doing some work in the area of grant management. Are our processes the same? Is there an opportunity for us to pull our work effort together and have one seamless process within the organization around this area of grant management? Is this one team member having a very challenging time addressing some areas in grant management that this team over here has the capacity to support? So when we are an organization that's willing to come together to start to have those types of conversations and really draw out from one another what we're doing from day to day, how that's impacting on us, and where those interdependencies exist, we can start to chip away, really quickly around overcoming and breaking down the silos.
Yes. Understanding those challenges and innovative approaches to overcome them is incredibly insightful. Now, moving forward, what have been some noticeable changes in the organizational dynamics as a result of this improved collaboration communication efforts? Is there any specific instance where these efforts led to a successful outcome? I know you provided those earlier, but you have any a specific or a certain example for this?
Yeah, some things in the field, right? So, yes, I can think of a instance. There was an organization who was charged with implementing a federally funded housing program. And there are a number of layers to this, because this was a pretty large nonprofit, actually, who is managing this federally funded program. The program is not something that they are, or the grant type was not something that they were used to. They were more accustomed to Medicaid billing around there as a means of generating business income. And grant management in the way that this particular program needed to be managed was relatively new to them. But they were a good fit for the program based on the type of work that the organization did in terms of supporting those who experience disabilities. And so a good fit in that instance. This program was part of a larger coordinated effort that their local government had put in place as a way to address the homelessness issue, and specifically addressing chronic homelessness, those that are, living outdoors or in other places not meant for human habitation, and also experiencing disabilities. Where the breakdown began to happen, and I mentioned this organization was really poised well to support the persons and individuals that would be part of this permanent housing program. But the type of grant this was just did not fit how they operated internally. And over time, that created a number of challenges between the local government entity, their COC, and this nonprofit. And when I stepped in, one of the things I immediately noticed is that there was a challenge with the two entities really understanding the level of value that they were not only contributing to one another, but the level of value they were contributing to the outcomes of the program. And stepping in and being able to take a step back to say, let's first look at where each of your competencies are, and competencies of the local government in terms of supporting this program and them guiding the larger strategy, community strategy around supporting those that are experiencing chronic homelessness. And then the competencies around this nonprofit, who is well known for, their support around for people that are experiencing disabilities. And let's see a value add here, and this exchange of value between you. And being able to do that immediately opened up opportunities for them to take a step back and realize how they might change the conversations from being combative to more productive around how do we problem solve and how do we work together, and what ways can we begin to think outside of the box where we can make this program successful, and what other partners might we need to bring in, like where, when we look at our value exchange map, what pieces are still, what value items are still kind of sitting on the side that we've not been able to put into our map. Yes. And we're not able to exchange, which introduces this idea of maybe we need to bring in additional partners to this work effort. And now not only have we broken down the silo from a communication perspective, but we've now broken down a silo within the community, because as a result of this work, we were able to bring in an additional partner to help support the work around this permanent housing program. And I think that's a great example of showing just how valuable it is to, one, be able to look at where are we siloed when we're talking about our work. I mean, even in this particular example, it's very easy to be siloed because we're talking about two very autonomous organizations.
Yes.
That have very distinct responsibilities and are guided by, different principles, philosophies, different missions, are living in a community, existing and working in a community and serving the same people. And even in that context, we still have to talk about breaking down silos. That was a really great experience, just to see how we were able to use, that technique of value mapping to kind of open up the communication, break down the initial silos, and begin to have the conversation about what's the value we're bringing to each other, what's the value we're bringing to the work, and getting to the point of saying, hey, let's bring in other partners. So now we've really broken out the silos, and we've become a program with multiple teams involved to support a community-wide effort. So, and then from there, kind of moving into, all right, let's get our language aligned. What do these different things mean? And now, the community has decided to take this program and move it forward through a multidisciplinary teams. And I think that's great. That's how I think social service work, human service work, systems work should happen.
Thank you for sharing that example, Kenyn. And I mean, it truly illustrates the power of collaboration and how business architecture aids in transforming an organization's culture and outcomes. So I really appreciate your insights today, and I look forward to exploring more topics with you in the future. So that's it for today. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you.